Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout using the July Valley High Studio Calico kit, and I'm down to my scraps, and a lot of it is even the second pattern paper of the scraps. I was trying to put it away, and I saw these other combinations that I would like. Now the Pebbles paper, the one with the waves and the canoes on the other side, that was actually the second sheet of that pattern paper. And I knew once I would put the kit away, I probably wouldn't scrap with these papers again. So, and I had the perfect pictures, because we stayed on the lake this summer for a week, and they were in the paddle boats and in wasn't canoes but kayaks and just regular boats like the whole week. So I wanted to make sure that I scrapped those with that paper. I didn't want to put that paper away and it wouldn't get used. So I'm going to go quite a bit using the two photos, and then you're going to see me all of a sudden decide just nope, that's not what I want to do. So I'm just taking the scraps now and kind of making it so that it's either squares or strips. So most of them are going to be strips. I'm just making it as big as the strip will let me. So some of them are a little bigger than the others, and I just plan on using, and if it was a box, I just left it as a box. And I just want to make sure that I use up as many pattern papers as I possibly can before I put this kit away. I have another page completed already, and I have another page that, let's say the kit is all put together. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm just going to do that one page and then I'll be done. And like I said, I'm going to go quite a bit down this road with the two pictures, and then I decide against it. I just want to make my cluster a little smaller, and with two pictures, the base of the photo is much bigger, so then all the clusters have to be bigger. So this layout is the 16th layout using this kit, and it took me an hour and 36 minutes to complete. And this is where I decide to just go, to one photo. So now I'm just gonna cut down the papers to match that, I guess. So most of the time I'm just using my scissors because I don't mind even if the papers are a little wonky. I just want it to be on the layout. So I'm just going back and forth trying to find as many scraps as I possibly can get on this layout. And then I had a piece of that teal paper that I used to mat the photos, and I wanted to use some of that. And I used the love paper. I think that was the last part of it. I might have a little bit of it. So between the last two layouts, I'm going to be using a lot of the scraps. And that strip that's onto the side, that was actually at the bottom of one of the pattern papers, and I absolutely loved it. It's a nice aqua and cream color. So I want to make sure that I use it on this page. Now that peachy color, I had a little strip of it left, so I just cut it in half and I put one at the top, one at the bottom, and it just kind of brings that peach on over to the right side of the page. And then I decide that I want to use a mask. And I thought maybe of using that dot mask, but then I decide on a different one, and I'm just going to go through my stash and find the one that I want. And where there is a lot of layers, I just want to make sure that I start gluing everything down, because it can get quite almost overwhelming when you have that many layers and you're trying to put stuff on and it keeps moving. I'd rather have it, I almost do my layouts in two stages. I get all the papers down, and then once that's done, I like to get it glued down so it doesn't move around on me. and then all I do is glue in the middle, and then that way I can still tuck stuff in behind. And then I go through my embellishments and get all my embellishments. And I even started that a lot of the times I don't even pull my embellishments till I get to that point, depending because sometimes, I feel like being in my scrap room, but I don't feel like scrapbooking, if that makes any sense. So that's usually when I'll put a kit together, because my brain is too tired to actually make a page, but I just feel like being in my scrap room. So that's usually what I'll do, is I'll do a page kit when I'm in, that kind of a mood. So I use my writing tool from Close to My Heart, and I outlined all the papers. So I glued down a few more layers because, again, I just wanted it down, and then now I'm going to keep outlining my papers. And what I do is, I hate taking another sheet of paper because I know it's not a big deal, but I don't know. To me, it is a big deal. So what I do is I just flip. Either I take the cardstock and I flip it over, or I just take the sheet that is, the biggest piece, and I flip that one over. And then I just outline on the back. And that way, if I go off, it's not a big deal because it's going to be on the back side of the photo. Now I'm going to glue everything down, and once I get it mostly down, I'm going to notice that I put that peach pattern paper over too much onto the right. So this is where I realized, oh yeah, I wanted to do a mask on the background. So I'm looking for my Hero Arts ink, and then I found this circular mask that I have, and I'm going to take a sponge. And I'd say 95% of the time I don't spray my mask onto my background. I use a sponge and some ink. I find you have a little bit more control, and it's neater. So I just like it to have a neat look and not a messy look for most of the time. I mean, the sprayed look is also nice, but just a lot of the times I like that neat look. So now I'm going to go to the top of the layout, and I'm going to have to lift all the papers. And I just wanted to say that sweater that you keep seeing, that's my scrapping shirt, because I used to, come in my craft room with whatever I was wearing, and then I end up getting ink on my good shirts and paint and all this stuff. So this shirt here, I already have ink to the front side of it. Like, it's just covered in white ink, and it doesn't matter how much, or paint or whatever, doesn't matter how much I wash it or put stuff on it, it's just there to stay. So what I do now is I just keep that shirt on my chair in my craft room, and when I come in to scrap, I put it on so that I don't wreck whatever I'm wearing. So if you're wondering why I'm always wearing the same thing, that's why, because I'm just tired of getting ink all over my good clothes. And that being said, I'm totally a jean and t-shirt girl. Like, that's all I wear is jeans and t-shirt. But still, you still don't want, ink and all that stuff on your t-shirts that you use to go to town and go shopping. So I think I walked away. Oh, here I am. I just want to let you know, I printed all my photos for December daily, and I have from December 1st to December 5th, I started working on the first page December 1st, and I am struggling. I'm not used to this format of project life, and I think that's why I put it off for so long. But I'm gonna push through, and then I just told myself, stop analyzing it, stop, just do the same thing, just take a whole bunch of embellishments and just throw it in the middle of the page that coordinate, and then go from there. Because remember, I talked about that in my last video, is that's when I struggle the most, is when it comes down to the embellishments. And I find with these project life pages, basically that's what it is. There's, it's basically photos, a little bit of paper, and embellishments. So I have I'd say about half of it done. And I'm going to get the first page completed tonight. But the printing took me almost 2 hours to, fix the photos and crop them and print them. But at least that part is done. So I should be able to whip through a few pages this weekend. And I want to do the last page for the Valley High Studio Calico kit too. I want to get that done. So now while I was chatting away, I finished the inking, and then now I'm going through my embellishments, finding everything that I like that coordinates with this page, and just putting it in the center of the layout. And then once I find like I have enough embellies on the page, then I start putting it on the layout. And it usually doesn't mean that I'm going to end up using all of it. Actually, quite a bit of it doesn't get used on a particular layout. But because I find that part of the layout challenging for me, by doing that, by putting everything in the center of the layout and not fussing at this point where everything's going to sit, it kind of takes that pressure away. And then it kind of narrows down my embellishments too, because I'm kind of going through, and I'd say probably as a rule, sorry, that was my iPhone. I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 pieces per section is what I choose, depending. Doesn't mean that it's going to go all on it, but at least I know that at that point then I'll have enough. And it kind of gives me some choices without being too overwhelming. It's narrowed down. So now that I find that I have enough, this is where I start moving everything around. And where there was a lot of vertical and horizontal square or rectangle elements, this is where I wanted to bring in that mass that was circular to kind of soften it up. And like I said on the last layout, I've been using a lot of doilies, so I'm just kind of trying to find other ways to soften the page up, and this is why I chose a mass this time. And then I punched out a circle, or a part of a circle, and that's, I tuck it in behind, and that's where I build my embellishment clusters on top of those circles. And I just pull in, I love those little labels from My Mind's Eye and Jelly Bean Soup and Bella Boulevard. Every time I see, new ones that pop up, and they're not expensive. They're about $1 a sheet, 99 cents. And, you get a lot of usage from them. Or the October Afternoon labels. I love those too. And so I just make sure that I have lots of those, or the digital prints also. So the title of this page is going to be Ahoy Matey. And I used the letters that we got in this month's kit. It was from the October Afternoon kit from Travel Girl. And now I'm going to fuss a little bit with the smaller letters because I don't know, what color I want to go. I am going to choose those little ones right here. But even once I do choose these ones, then I fuss with where it's going to sit. And at the end, I choose to put it sort of on the M, sort of hanging off, totally on the first bar of the M is where it's finally going to rest. Like right now, it's off to the side, but I find it's fine. I thought it looked it was kind of getting lost, but you can really see it. But I end up putting it directly on the M, on that first bar. And I just thought it was a different way to put the title, so I like that. So now I'm going to take my foam tape and pop off the page a few of the elements. And that foam tape is from Scotch, 3M, and I got it at Custom Crops. And the reason I say it every time is I always get when I don't say it, I get questions because I mean, there's always new people all the time, right? So I always get questions. Where did you get that big roll of foam tape? So I just want to make sure that I mention it every time. So I got a custom crops. I paid about $36. So I mean, you can shop around, and I think it's called a Scrapbooking Warehouse. I think they have it for about $30, but I don't know what the shipping is like. So that strip that I cut off at the bottom of that pattern paper, I'm going to put it in each embellishment spot instead of using a washi tape. I just wanted to use that strip of paper. It was so pretty. I did not want that to go in the trash. I wanted to, for it to live on forever in my scrapbook. So I'm going to put foam tape on that one right there also. And I'm so excited. Yesterday, I've been waiting for over a year to get an iPhone 5. And so my plan was due to renew this month. So I patiently waited because I refused to pay more for it than I needed to. And so I went, and actually the 5C was the same price as the 5. And so I got my new iPhone 5C, and it takes amazing pictures. Amazing. Like, I'm so happy, especially with the December daily where you're always forever taking pictures, and I don't want to be carrying my bulky, SLR camera with me everywhere. So this is perfect because I have my phone with me all the time. So I'm really excited that I got my phone. So now I put some of those strips on top and the bottom of that journaling strip, and then I added a little bit of twine just to kind of really frame that journaling spot. And then I put a little geotag, and that geotag, I got it from the Freckled Fawn embellishment kit that you can subscribe to. And then I'm going to put a little piece of twine around that label at the bottom of the layout. And then I'm going to put another piece of twine, and that one I'm going to put it around the entire top part of that layer on top of there. And Celine, if you're watching this, I was thinking about you when I watched Glitter Girl this week, because Glitter Girl did an episode and it was all about twine. And I thought, hey, we did that. We, talked about, different ways that we can use our twine. So I thought that was kind of neat. So my battery had died, and while I was waiting for it to charge up, I cut apart these little canoes that were on the back side of that blue paper because I wanted to put some on the page. And I put one with the journaling, I put one with the top right embellishment, and then the other one I just put at the top of the layout. And I just kind of made sure that it was kind of touching the twine, so it looks like it's anchored by the twine. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like it's being tied. It's being held by that twine like a rope. So I thought maybe it'd be nice if I could put those, because those circles reminded me of bullseye. So I thought it'd be cute to have little arrows that pointed in, but I couldn't get it to work. So I just kind of gave up on that idea and just kind of moved on. And one thing that I try to do, and I mean, my layouts still take me, an hour and 36 minutes, sometimes an hour and 10 minutes when it's really quick. But I have to say, I don't come in here wanting to always be in a race, because this is really a nice, relaxing time for me. And to spend 2 hours on a layout, or an hour and a half, I feel really good about that, and I feel like I got something accomplished. But one thing that I changed, because it used to take me like 5 or 6 hours to do a layout. So one thing that changed for me is that I started doing videos. And once I started doing videos, I was like, well, I can't take 5 or 6 hours or even days to do a page, because it's going to take forever to upload to my iMovie and, cut it down and all this stuff. So I just started making decisions and committing to it and just going with it. And I realized today when I did or uploaded the last video, that was 150 videos ago. So obviously it's working because it'll be a year in February. And I'm anxious to see how many pages I'll have done by February 21st, because I think that was the first video that I uploaded was on February 21st or 20th, around that area. So I'm anxious to see, I know it made a huge difference on how many layouts I get done per month. So while I was saying that, I just threaded some thread through the buttons, and just so that they look like they were sewn to the page. And then I used one of those little wood veneers and that we got in the kit, and I just glued it on the page, and it just says agréable, which means pleasant. And it was pleasant. It was fun. It was, relaxing. And now I'm going to look for some enamel dots, and I'm going to put 3 different colors, and I'm just going to dot them around. So like I was saying, I'm anxious to see how many pages I'm going to get done, but it's due to the fact that I stopped fussing so much on the embellishments, because that's where I struggle, is with the embellishments, or I struggled more. Like it's not totally easy for me now. I still find that's the part of the layout that I struggle with, but it's much more flowing than it used to be. And I account it largely to the fact that I just, like I say, I just take my embellishments and I just stick them all in the middle of the page. I don't know where they're going to go. I just make sure that I take out as much as I possibly can and then go from there. Once I feel like I have enough, I start dividing between the 3 embellishment clusters. And once everything's, is laid out, if I find it's not enough, then I go back. And it's typically a layering an element. So whether it's a circle or a square, like from the digital prints, a sticker, a button or brads, and some enamel dots, and then some little sticky words. That's usually, and then some washi tape and some twine. That's usually where I get the stuff, that's usually the order of the stuff that I get, finishing with the twine and the enamel dots last. And then I throw in, sometimes I get, instead of the buttons, I'll switch it up and use flares, or instead of, instead of the washi tape, I use a strip of paper. And instead of a punch circle, I'll use one of the square elements from the digital print. So I try to mix it up. So now I took out my Mr. Huey in 2 different colors. I believe I'm going to show them. Let me see. Seafoam and, I couldn't see that. But it's 2 colors from Mr. Huey Mist. And there I showed you the title, how it looks, and all the different little clusters. And then I wanted the page to have a little bit of dimension, so I'm taking some foam, what are they called? They're the foam dots from Stampin' Up. I can't remember what they're called right now. My brain, sometimes it just refuses to work. And anyway, I just kind of added them without even removing the tape backing, and it just added some bulk to the page. So I'm going to show you a few close-ups of all the different areas. And that's it. The page is done. So thanks for watching. Bye.